Marty, you've been playing a bunch of Watch Dogs 2.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot
Start
of Watch
there.
Dogs 2. Yeah.
What do you think? Because I haven't had a chance to sit down with it yet, but at E3, I thought, man, I really like this a lot better than Watch Dogs 1. It felt more Grand Theft Auto-ish, but and I mean that in a nice way.
Yeah.
Like it just kind of felt better to play, and I'm looking forward to diving into it.
So I'm gonna couch this with a caveat that I am very biased for the fact that San Francisco is my favorite city in America, and the fact that this game does such a killer job of representing the city, not only as a physical location, but in tone. Like, I'm just enamored with that. But honestly, this is the most fun I've had with an open world game in years.
I think it doesn't take itself too seriously, and there's some things that I can't figure out if it's a parody intentionally or not. The hackers are kind of a bunch of douchebags, a little bit. But I mean, Marcus, like in the first maybe 20 minutes, gets super drunk and then wakes up in his boxes, and it's done
thought
really
you meant
well.
Marcus Phoenix for half a second there. Like, oh, come on.
Phoenix cameo.
Marcus Phoenix had a one-night stand with a girl in Marin and has to get back. He's very confused. That's a Gears of War Judgment spoiler.
Yes.
Yeah, but just Ryan, like you said, like it is looser and faster and more fun focused in terms of gameplay and in terms of just the story and the structure.
Also, I really like the writing.
So do I. Yeah.
There's one mission that's I've only played the first 2.5 hours, I think, but there's one mission super early on where it's basically a guy who's a complete parody of OG Luke from GTA San Andreas, like almost completely. And you go to him and you have to like get part of his music downloaded. You have to steal it, and then you basically fake selling it to someone else.
Wasn't OG Loke a parody?
Yes.
Yes. Parody of a parody.
It's a parody of a parody.
Okay.
Meta parody.
But you basically end up going to this guy's house, and you call him, and you're like looking through his security camera, and you pretend to be the rapper. I don't remember what the rapper's name is, but it's off a soundboard. So you're talking to this guy with a soundboard.
It's really funny.
You make him transfer you money to get the rest of the track that you've managed to download, and just slowly watch him lose his mind as you're repeating the same lines over and over again because it's on a soundboard. It's really well done.
Yeah, each of the sort of core like pillar missions, which are composed of a series of smaller missions that end up with you gaining a ton of followers, has a really interesting and sort of smart modern message. Like there's one about you infiltrating what is very much a faux Church of Scientology, which is very much has a figurehead of a Tom Cruise-esque dude.
There are
there's another
actually
one.
a lot of parodies in it.
Yeah, and
the
there's
guy
like
I was talking about is a guy who said he would. He's a parody of an actual guy on Twitter.
Yeah.
Who said he would release.
Martin Shkreli.
Martin Skrillex.
Martin,
He said he was going to release a bunch of music if Trump got
that's the
elected?
guy, the big pharma guy who bought all the AIDS medication and then jacked up the price.
The
on it.
Has the Wu-Tang,
Has the
Wu-Tang
Wu-Tang
record?
albums,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
The one good,
It's a
the one
parody
good
of
thing
him.
to come out last
Yeah.
week was we got more Wu-Tang. But I think I really like how many things they throw at you. Like I'm constant, like my
Dogs,
ADD is
man.
kicking, and you could pet
A lot of dogs.
Yeah,
I'm
you
up
pet
for
dogs,
that.
and
Yes.
you get achievements for petting
dogs.
dogs, and
What?
then there's just a lot of side
Gonna
quests.
need that
to do.
achievement on my profile
Yeah.
ASAP.
good.
Yeah, the co-op when it works is super fun. Just
So
being able
that's
to,
been having issues.
it's been
though,
having
right?
issues, but honestly, I think that's something that in a week isn't like.
Yeah.
it's one of
One's
those things we're
problems.
talking about right now, but it's not going to matter in a week.
Yeah.
All of Watch Dogs 2's marketing has done absolutely nothing for me. It's
No,
like you
same.
can do whatever you want. You can blow up all the cops in the city. I'm like, I don't want to do any of that right now.
Yeah.
But you describing a narrative and parodies of real life events, and that's a little more exciting to me than anything Ubisoft has done marketing wise.
That stuff's really
I
interesting.
haven't played it yet because of the bad marketing, in my opinion.
And the way I've upgraded all my stuff is I'm upgrading my remote controlled drone and then my flying drone, and almost every mission I complete by never even entering the compound. I do it purely
That's
by
really cool.
remotes and by hacking, and like I will complete full missions where I never even enter the hot zone, like physically enter it, which is awesome.
Can you take a helicopter right up and put yourself right on the top of the Transamerica pyramid there?
Get
Probably.
right, I'm sure there's an achievement for that.
Yeah. So
Gotta
while,
be,
while
right?
I really like the writing, I like I said, played about 2.5 hours, and I feel like I've seen everything that it has to offer. I think it's funny, but I also feel like it's super shallow. And
I don't think it's shallow.
it just
Wait,
hasn't
shallow
grabbed
in
me
terms of the story,
All right,
in terms of
I'm
the
out
gameplay.
again.
either. Like
No,
it's hard for me to say, but I know that you get it, and it's hard to say because I don't know if that's because partly you love San Francisco so much, or maybe
Yes.
it's just that I haven't invested enough in it. Like it could be one of those two things, but it's just from what I played. I was like, all right, I know what this is. I'm good.
Mitch, formerly of Unlocked, said he was hanging out at his
Rest
house
in
in Watch
peace.
Dogs 2
Yeah.
and like drove across the
Yeah,
bridge.
he was
and,
tweeting out
like,
yesterday about how
Yeah.
like this was helping him cure homesickness by bumming around the city, which is awesome.
It is
Really neat.
a really good representation of San Francisco. But for people who haven't been to San Francisco, what does that mean?
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
Well,
You can go. You
We'll have to
can.
wait and
You
see.
got.
Been here.
You have Forza Horizon 3
Yeah.
to play. Marty's got Watch Dogs 2.
Yeah, that's
well,
true.
I also had Watch Dogs 1 because I know Chicago really well
Good
too.
point.
So.
We should compare it to that, by the way. I mean,
Watch Dogs 1 was a wet blanket, and this is
It's-
a very dry blanket.
Dry blanket?
Fresh out of the dryer.
wow,
Fresh out of the dryer.
going
How
real
many
different ways with
blankets
that.
out of 10 does it
It's,
get?
I mean, it's super different. Even the hacking, I feel like they.
Can't get over the
A lot of what I
blanket
did
analogy.
a lot of what I did in Watch Dogs 1 seemed to be like drive somewhere and then press X to do something. Whereas in this, it's always, so I was playing on PlayStation, so it's L1 and then a wheel and then you press something. It's like you
have more
have
options.
way more control.
Yeah. And there's like the upgrade path is really great because you can, you gain followers, which give you upgrade points, and you can allot them into whatever you want.
You get a lot of followers for real small stuff.
Yeah,
It's
well,
like take
you-
a photo in front of a church.
Yeah.
13,000 followers.
You have a bunch of followers for real small stuff.
Oh, dang.
Chelsea.
Oh. Hey, my dog video is a good quality.
Dog videos are good. I don't know. I'm really liking it. I'm absolutely going to stay. I'm trying to burn through it before the deluge of Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
And I want to get to the next game we're going to talk about very soon.
Yes, but let's not do that yet because I want to talk about vehicles first.
Please.
In Watch Dogs. Okay, one,
They're there.
sailing is awesome.
Sailing's fun.
Sailing is great.
Yeah, it's like Wind
also
Waker.
kind of a little more complicated than it is in GTA. And of course, I think this is the one thing that people are always going to compare to GTA the most is driving because that's so much of what you do in GTA.
Yeah, for sure. And any open world game that's set in a sort of realistic modern setting, inevitably, I mean, the transportation is a huge focus of
Yeah.
that because
Well,
it's how
it's
you get
pretty
around the huge world.
It's pretty small though.
Well,
I
San
feel like the
Francisco's
map's not
pretty
very
small.
big.
San Francisco itself is small.
I mean, that's a good point. But Oakland in Watch Dogs 2 is also tiny, and
Yeah,
Oakland
you
is
have
not
to-
that small.
You have to make concessions
7
in the
by
game.
7.
Like you can't
No,
one to one.
I get that. That's not me complaining about it. It's just like the amount that it takes you to get around the map is not very long.
Sure.
Like I'm comfortable walking around San Francisco, and I can still pretty much get everywhere that I would. want
Unlike
to
in
go.
real life where no one's comfortable around.
No one wants to walk around San Francisco. But yeah, most
Do you
of
like how the driving feels?
it's fine, but it doesn't really have much variety. So
No.
All the
of
cars
the
feel the
vehicles,
same?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's unfortunate.
They do have the cool
But
thing.
they feel fine.
They do have the cool thing where, like in Mafia 3, one of the things I really liked about it was the ability to call in cars.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, you slowly, through missions, you unlock better and better cars that you can call in, and they'll just show up wherever you are. So if you finish a mission, and you're like in the middle
Uber
of
it.
if you're in the
Yeah.
middle of Muir Woods, and you're like, well, do I want to steal that crappy truck? You're like, oh no, I can call in my sports car and drive it off.
It's like the parts in LA Noire where you,
can
just
take
didn't have
a taxi,
to.
it sounds like.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, no, a car is just delivered to you, and then you can drive it. So they just deliver
Oh,
you.
yeah, it's
They
like-
deliver
it's
you
like
a sports
GTA
car in the middle of
Online.
nowhere.
But
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
GTA, I can call a taxi and just be like, just warp me to my
I don't
next
know if you
waypoint.
can do that. Can
Right?
you?
What?
Like call a car that will
No, I mean you could fast
travel you?
Oh,
You can just fast travel.
Oh, yeah, you can fast travel between
right from the
clothing
get-go.
shops?
Right from the get-go, you can fast travel to Alcatraz 5 minutes into the game.
Can you? Huh. There's totally going to be a mission there.
Yeah,
I haven't done it yet. But
there's absolutely. There's also that
would
really
hope so.
there's also the really funny sort of meta mission to where you climb to the top of Ubisoft's office in San Francisco,
Oh, yeah.
hack
Yeah.
into their security cameras, and then you watch
Get a trailer for a game.
leaked
Yeah.
trailer of a sci-fi western space cowboy game.
Turns out that's a real thing.
Maybe.
I
That's what we
heard
reported,
back in the
wasn't
day
it?
that
Well,
it
what-
was that was sort of a thingish that they were working on at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe it got canceled. Maybe
Yeah.
this is just a wink and a nod to that.
So it was
That's what we
kind of a real
reported.
thing, but it's not like an announcement. It's just something that
no.
did kind of exist.
Yeah.
But
I
there
just-
are a lot of really funny trailers in it as well. The first trailer that you watch of like some cheesy action
Action
movie,
movie, yeah.
and it's like cool seeing Marcus and I think Wrench is the
Yeah,
guy's
the dude
name,
with
and they're
the
just
weird
like
mess. And they're
sitting on the
geeking out
couch
about
and
it.
just like freaking out about
Yeah.
this trailer. It's like Marcus
Later
is
on in the
super
game,
relatable.
later in the game, you meet that actor.
Oh, really?
It's so good. Yeah,
I think the last mission I did was I stole his car.
yeah. That's not very nice. Don't do that.
Yeah, the car was real sassy too. It gave me
Oh,
some
it was the
look.
Knight Rider car. The
Yeah,
car
it
that
was
talks.
real mean to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not convinced that I need to play more of it. I don't know.
Alana's
So
wrong.
we are divided on it.
Yeah.
That is, it's been getting mostly good reviews.
Yes.
So far. So yeah, it sounds like a try it for sure.
Well, it's also something that if I were to review it, I'm sure that I would pretty much give it a good review as well because it's everything that is in it I like. It's
Yeah.
just that
I mean, it's hard to compete.
It could also be that I'm playing Dishonored 2. So I'm like,
Yeah.
why would I play that when
When
I
you
could play
call it
Dishonored
shallow,
2?
I mean, that makes me worry because I don't want to play any more shallow games. There's enough of those on the market. I want to play something that actually is compelling narrative, has a compelling narrative.
I didn't see a compelling narrative in it, and I think part of that
Everything
is
I've
that
seen is just like, check out my dumb hacker car and I'm going to drive around.
sort
I'm
of
like,
yeah.
I don't
But
care.
it also it starts with you just as part of DedSec. It doesn't show why you want to be part of DedSec or like lead you. And I found that really strange. It's like, I want to know more about why Marcus wanted to do this. Don't just make him a hacker. It was really seemed like an odd choice. But I think if you were to review it, it's also like there's a pretty extensive level system that I didn't really get to play with that much. So it's like maybe I don't know.
Well, final review is still pending on IGN because the co-op multiplayer, the drop-in, drop-out co-op multiplayer, well, pseudo co-op.
They're working on
not exactly. It's aren't there bounties? Aren't you trying to hunt people?
Well, there is a legit co-op where you and a friend can just bum around the open world together.
That's not functioning properly.
Correct.
It's really funny because on the main screen it describes it as being like seamless multiplayer, and then it's like is not working.
Well,
you're like so seamless.
So we will sort that out as soon as the game permits us to.